Hi, I'm Jackie Beal. I'm an intuitive life coach and I'm the founder of this Facebook community, Healing Changes. I've been discussing with you the 11 signs of family dysfunction. And if you're new to the group or you've missed any of the previous videos, you'll find them on the feed. We talked about the first 5 happening in childhood, and those were the childhood signs for the family dysfunction. And last week I talked about how just because the child grows up, the family dysfunction doesn't end. In fact, it often trickles into the adulthood and takes on a new form. And so we talked about some of those last week. I did the first 3, and today I'm going to do the last 3, and we'll be done with all 11. So last week when I started, I talked about exerting control over your life. And what does that mean? It means when people relentlessly try to control another person's single action. And how does that look? It looks like controlling access to money, constantly lying, emotionally blackmailing them, and pitting family members against each other. And people who grow up like this often say in adulthood they feel unhappy and dissatisfied. Then we talked about dominance. And this is the dominant submissive family dysfunction. And it means one family member rules everything. What they say is the law. They have no consideration for any other family members' ideas, feelings, opinions. And children in this kind of household grow up to be adults that feel powerless, voiceless, and have low self-esteem. And then I talked about exploitation. And this is when you feel like your sole purpose was to take care of your parents or your sibling. And they only show you value or affection when you're meeting their financial or emotional needs. And so this is a deliberate manipulation or abuse of power. And it happens when someone takes advantage of another person or situation or a role in the family. So today I wanted to move on and talk about infantilizing. And what does that mean? Well, infantilizing is deliberately treating or making someone feel younger than their age. It makes them feel incapable of being responsible, decision making, or succeeding at things in life. And usually this comes from a family where one or more members are narcissistic or the parents have really low self-esteem. Because parents with the low self-esteem tend to view their kids as extensions of themselves. And as a result, they feel threatened at the thought of their child getting away from their hold. And they'll use a number of tactics to keep you in line. Ultimately, they'll do everything in their power to undermine your growth. The effects, well, they say, let me quote, parents who infantilize their children will emphasize the children's incompetence in independent activities, making it difficult for them to feel confident of their ability to do things on their own without the parent. So if you've been infantilized your whole life, you probably have feelings of low self-esteem. You doubt your decisions and your choices. You might be scared to take risks, and you have a hard time gaining confidence when you need it the most. Number harsh judgment and criticism. So we all dread those family get-togethers. I'm sorry, that came out a little bit. Sorry about that. Where they ask, when are you getting married? Are you still at that same job? What are you going to do with your life? Well, it's normal for families to be a little critical and ask those questions because they're really just wanting the best for you. But a toxic family, well, they'll take it to a whole new level entirely. It's an environment where you never get anything right. Even when you do succeed, they still find ways to put you down. They'll belittle your achievements and they constantly make you feel incompetent and unsuccessful. So what happens? You develop a harsh inner critic. And when you grow up in a highly critical household and all you've ever known is negativity, you start to be ingrained with self-doubt and unsure and poor choices. And last of the 11 signs of family dysfunction that we're going to talk about, number 11, in adulthood, you're not given love. Families are supposed to be a source of strength, stability, and validation. And when there's family dysfunction, these dynamics are turned upside down. A toxic family might belittle you, break down your self esteem, they might mock your insecurities, and they might ignore your requests for sympathy. Why? Because they might think, well, it's okay to do this. You're an adult now. You can take it. You should be able to handle it. So when you are rebuffing, when you're having all of your requests rebuffed for sympathy and compassion, that can be just as damaging as actively attacking a family member. So unless you take the right steps to work through your trauma of growing up in a dysfunctional family, you'll carry that pain with you and possibly the cycle of toxicity. And the truth is, there may be behaviors that you might be bringing to your current situations and relationships, having been raised in a toxic family. And as we've gone through these, I'm sure you have seen where a lot of it has hit you. And I want you to know again, this is not your fault. You did not deserve it. You can heal from this. And I want to help you. So first of all, I'm offering my workshop next Tuesday, 2/22/22 at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. It's free. It's called The Pathway to Healing Boundaries. And it really is a sneak preview of my program called Healing Generational Wounds, which will be coming up at a later date. But I want you to take advantage of this free workshop. Come in. We're going to dive in a little deeper and find out where you might be missing your boundaries and what's kept you from doing it. And as you can see, a lot of these things have a lot to do with where you've been influenced and where you've been held back and where you don't even know. So again, you'll find that registration at the top of the page. And I've really enjoyed going through this. If any of it resonates, if you want to reach out, feel free to. I do check the comments, and I hope you have a great day. And I hope to see you live next Tuesday. Peace. Have a good one, guys.